Hi, today is day 2 of I can use the properties of equality to solve an equation with a variable on one side of the equation. Today we're going to translate equations and use the equations to solve real world problems. So we're going to use the words that we learned yesterday to solve or to translate these problems. Now, a couple days ago, we learned that sum meant to add. So we're going to put the plus sign there. And we learned that the answer to an addition problem goes where the word and is. So we're going to draw an arrow where the word and is. And then we learned that twice means to multiply by 2. So we're going to do 2 times a number is x, and then that's where the plus sign goes. And then 10 is the verb of the sentence. That's where your equal sign goes, and then it's 36. Now, we're not going to solve these equations. We're just translating it into an equation. That's all that we're going to do with this set of notes is just simply translating it into the sentence into an equation. So let's go ahead and do that. The sum of twice a number, so we have 2 times x, and that's where your plus sign goes, 10 is, that's your equal sign, 36. That's how you translate the sentence into the equation. So looking at number 2 here, 3 times the difference of a number and 7 is 18. The verb of the sentence is, so there's your equal sign. So starting over, 3 times the difference of. So if you remember from a couple of days ago, the 3 times the difference of, that's your quantity. It's signifying parentheses. So we're going to use parentheses here, and this is everything that you're putting in parentheses. The difference, so that's the minus sign, minus goes where the and is, right there. And it's a number, so x and 7. So you're going to take 3 and you're multiplying it by the answer to x minus 7. So here we go. We've got 3 parenthesis x minus 7, closing your parenthesis, is 18. So it's 3 times the answer. That's the difference of all of this. That's why we had to use the parentheses there. All right. 8 less than 1/2 of a number is 17. So we have 8. Now we know less than means to subtract, but we also know something else about the word less than. It's a turn it around phrase. So don't forget about that loop-de-loop car. It's going to turn everything around. 1/2 of means to multiply. A number is x is 17. All right, so it's a turn it around phrase. So this minus sign is going to go after everything else here. All right, so we're just going to kind of read backwards here. So it's half of x, so it's half times x, and then it's minus 8 equals 17. Notice how that turn it around phrase happened. It's half times x, and then it's less than 8. That minus 8 had to go at the back. Number 4, it says, express the area of a rectangle whose length is twice its width decreased by 6. So what I recommend here, let's get that to focus. what I recommend here is to draw a picture sometimes. Sometimes that helps. So if I draw a picture so you can actually see what the heck I'm talking about, it says the area of a rectangle whose length is twice its width decreased by 6. So if the width is x, now it's twice its width. Twice means 2 times the width. If the width is x, it's going to be twice that. So twice x decreased by, that means subtract, 6. So that's 2x minus 6. Now, how do you find area? Well, the area of a rectangle is length times width. So if I do this times this, I've got area is equal to the x times all of this stuff, 2x minus 6. And that, I'm just going to leave it like that. I'm not going to simplify it because it just says express the area of a rectangle whose length is twice its width decreased by 6. And that's the area of the rectangle whose length is twice its width decreased by 6. Let's go ahead and turn the page. All right, when two fractions equal each other, we call this a proportion, just as we're reiterating this. We saw the proportion by cross multiplying when solving an equation. So an example of what I'm talking about here would be something like what we did yesterday from this right here, 2w over 16 equals 30 over 80. And this is what we did yesterday when we cross multiplied and we multiplied those two. So 2w times 80 is 160. W equals, when we cross multiply going this way, 16 times 30, that is 480. Now, 160W equals 480 when we divide both sides by 160. Remember, 160 divided by 160 equals 1. W equals 3. And that's how you solve a proportion problem, is to cross multiply. Don't forget that you cross multiply. All right, solving problems with equations. This is the real world problem of it all. Angela rented a car for $30 a day plus a one-time insurance cost of $7. Her bill was $277. For how many days did she rent the car? Your homework problems are going to be set up this exact same way. It says define your variable. That's your let statement. We're going to let x equal the number of days, because it says how many days does she rent the car. So x equals the number of days. Next, it says write an equation to fit the problem. So it says she rented a car for $30 a day. So that's going to be $30 times the number of days that she rented it. So that's going to be 30x, because that's the number of days. X represents the number of days. And then it says plus. Here's the plus sign. So plus a one-time insurance cost of $7. So we're adding 7 to it. How much was her bill? It was a total of $277. So total $277. We've got our equation. The sentence set it up for us. 30 times x plus 7 equals $277. Now it says solve the equation. So we're going to solve this equation. I'm going to rewrite it down here. 30x plus 7 equals 277. Now to solve it, draw a line down your equal sign. Step 1 is to get rid of the constant. So I've got to get rid of this plus 7. To get rid of the plus 7, I'm going to subtract 7 on both sides. Positive 7 minus 7 is 0. So now I'm going to bring down my 30x equals 270. Next, I need to get the x by itself, so I'm going to divide both sides by 30. So 30 divided by 30 is a fancy Nancy 1. X is equal to 270 divided by 30 is 9. Now, it says, write a sentence to answer the question. Now, what was the question? It said, we underlined it. For how many days did she rent the car? So we're going to answer the question. Angela rented the car for 9 days. Now, when working on word problems, remember to start by identifying the question. Underline or highlight the question. Define your variable. Underline and highlight the problem and important information in the problem. It'll help you create the equation. Then solve the equation and then write your answer in sentence form. This will help you remember the units that you need. For instance, 9 days. You had to have the word days on there in order to get full credit. All right, so this completes the lesson for today. It completes all of lesson 1.2. And if you remember, 1.2's I can statement was I can use the properties of equality to solve an equation with the variable on one side of the equation. I hope you all have a wonderful day.